So the programming, I mean,
Yeah.
tell me about how the programming languages have evolved over the years that Kraft Silicon started to today, which is it's a group. You have offices in India. I mean, you have quite a number of presence in a number of African countries. How has that evolved?
So the first programming language that I started with, and I think this rolls back to India. In India, the best of the best lot gets into medicine. Then the second lot gets into engineering,
Okay.
and then everyone else gets into BSc. That's Bachelor of Science, could be physics, chemistry.
Okay.
And for us, because there are so many, we always end up doing programming in the side.
Okay.
So that if we don't get a job somewhere else in a domain, then we get into the computer field. So that's how I learned my programming.
So you did
I did physics.
physics.
Yeah, I did physics. Yeah.
Physics, and then you are doing enginering on the
No,
side.
no,
I
no.
mean,
Programming in the side.
programming. So
So
what
in the
languages?
evening.
Yes.
So I started with C, obviously, C, C++, and and yeah, and I think that's where I clicked out. And I was not so good in my studies.
Okay.
My parents were always worried about me, but the programming clicked out, and it's clicked out so well that I just fell in love. Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward to your time now
Yeah.
in Kenya and starting Kraft. How's that journey been?
So I came here I came here looking for a job. So I had a friend in Kenya
Okay.
who invited me. I came here. I worked for a couple of months there.
Okay. You work for someone?
I worked for someone for
Okay.
about 7-8 months.
Coding?
Yeah, it was. I came in with an expectation that I'll be doing some programming.
Okay.
But the job was not so much of a programming. It was more of a data entry. So then, and I didn't really like that job because I felt I was coming to Kenya to do some programming and to change the world maybe. And so yeah, that job was not so interesting. And where I used to stay next to my house was an IT manager for a bank.
Okay.
His bank was looking for a system.
Uh-huh.
And then one evening when we were just talking around, I still remember I was, some of these memories are so stuck in your head. So I still remember.
They're vivid.
Yeah, very clear. I also remember what I was wearing, what he was wearing, all the. And we were just talking. And he says, "My bank is looking for a product, and the banking systems are so expensive. We are a small bank; we can't afford." I said, "Yeah, I can do it for you." And yeah, so I went, and I think always I had gone to all these customers with a mindset that I already have a product.
Yes.
So now I went there, I say, yeah, I have a product, I can do ABCD for you. He says, okay, come and present the product. So you very quickly in 2-3 days, you would prepare some wireframes here, there, present it to them. And yeah, and then you commit before you have the product.
And then you get it done.
And you get it done. So you say a lot of future truth and then get it done.
So today you are a company in how many countries?
So today, I think then over the period of years, Kraft Silicon grew tremendously. Yes. And I think we were at the right place, right time, with the right support from our customers. So from that customer, we got into some very interesting customers like Equity, Jami Bora, which is Kingdom Bank now, CDN, which used to be a Kereb Bank.
Yes.
So they supported us pretty well. And then from there, because we used to do a lot of DFID projects, like KREP was funded by DFIDs. And then because the product was so good, they liked it, it served the purpose. They also got in some of the other partners.
Okay.
So from there, we started expanding across the continent.
Okay.
We also got the similar opportunity in India. So we had customers, microfinance and.
So this was after how many years?
So Kraft Silicon, I think the real business started coming in around 2010.
After how many years? I think this is really important for entrepreneurs to appreciate and understand.
The hard work went on and on for like 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. You just keep running around everywhere. trying to
looking
figure
for
out.
salary every day.
Yeah.
You need to meet salary
Anytime
every
I
month.
go and say, customer would ask you, so how much are you going to charge me? I say, okay, my monthly expense, because I have 4 people, is so much. At least if I can charge them for 5 months of my salary, I'm okay. So I would just multiply and give them that price.
So that's how you operated in the first
Yeah.
wow.
And then when it grew, I think then Kraft, I think, grew up pretty well.
Yes.
Then and I still used to program, so I always needed somebody else to run the business. So
Yes.
I was able to cultivate the right talent around me.
So you've always programmed.
Always.
You've always coded.
And I would
Up to
continue
now.
doing it. Up to now, I do programming. Yeah.
And you leave the boring stuff of running the business.
There
to
are
other
times I would yeah. So I leave. I mean, I'm not a sales guy.
Yes.
I can do a presentation in a pretty well fashion, and I can present the point. But opening the doors, if you take me to a social gathering, I would be in that corner and with lost guy, clueless. Yeah. So that's not my expertise.
So fast forward to today, India operations, then little. I mean, from core banking, fintech, when did you wake up one morning and decide, I want to compete with Uber? You're crazy, man.
So I think it's interesting. So
Yes.
Kraft is a B2B provider.
Yeah.
And today, if you always been a B2B provider, but I always wanted that desire to get into the retail mass market where we own the customer. Today on a Kraft Silicon platform, if I just aggregate all our customers, my customer's customer, I might be serving about 120 to 130 million customers. But I don't own them. I mean, I have so much information about them. I think I can roll out very interesting products to them, but I can't do that because I don't own them directly. So there was always a desire to start owning the customers.
Okay.
And that's
The
where
end customer.
The end customers, yeah, I own them directly. That was my desire. And so with that in mind, I launched a product for mobile wallet. We named it Elma.
I remember Elma. And I think it was when I had and started interacting with Elma, I felt that Kraft was like way ahead of its time in its thinking. I mean, you're talking about a wallet, a virtual wallet. At that time, in this part of the world, almost completely unheard of.
So that's where we launched Elma. And what started happening, in 2 challenges I started facing. One is we didn't really had the retail mass market knowledge. So to promote a retail product, you need a different mindset. Correct. From promoting a B2B product. That I think we lacked that. So we failed in the execution strategy. The other place which hindered us a lot was we ended up competing with our existing customers. So on one side, we are providing a mobile solution to a customer. On the other side, the same solution is competing with our customers. And so it failed miserably. Conflict of interest, a conflict of priorities.
Yes.
Customers would feel uncomfortable. So it didn't work out well. But I think the desire to get into the retail mass market was very strong. And so
let's spend a minute or two on the term failed miserably. I mean, this is a product. From outside, it looked like it was working. Even though commercially it may have failed, what were the lessons that you picked from there and then used going forward for your new products and services?
So what I think, the reason from the tech perspective, I think it didn't fail. It was a good technology, stable technology, and the UI, UX, and that time was pretty, interesting.
Correct.
But where I think it failed was in terms of we were not able to place the product in the right place. It's like Boeing ends up starting its own airline. They're supposed to sell the aircrafts to an airline company, but they end up starting.
That's a good example. It's a good analogy.
So, but because the desire was there, It always remained in my heart that yes, one day I want to get into the retail mass market.
Okay.
And then, just pop comes in one day, and there is Uber driver striking, complaining, everyone complaining, the media headlines here and there.
Perfect storm.
Yeah, it just comes. And interestingly, I think I've always been very lucky. Just opportunity comes to my door, maybe, and then knocks it, and I just grab it.
You know this term, very lucky. I hear this a lot with successful entrepreneurs and business people. And it reminds me of, I'm not sure that it was Henry Ford who said, I realized the harder I work, the luckier I get.